the impossible survival. How one man crawled back from death in the frozen Andes. In the high peaks of the Peruvian Andes, where the air is thin and every step is a battle against nature, Joe Simpson and Simon Yates would experience one of the most extraordinary survival stories ever told. Their 1985 expedition to climb Cielo Grande's unclimbed west face remains a tale of triumph, tragedy, and the unbreakable human spirit. Joe Simpson and Simon Yates, both young and ambitious, had spent months preparing for the climb. The west face of Cielo Grande, towering at 6,344 meters, was an alluring challenge. It was steep, icy, and deadly perfect for the duo, who thrived on pushing their limits. For them, this was not just about reaching the summit, but about conquering the unconquerable. Their journey began with optimism. Laden with gear and provisions, they braved freezing winds and treacherous terrain. Day after day, they climbed higher, navigating sheer ice walls and crevasses that seemed bottomless. The camaraderie between Simpson and Yates was palpable. They trusted each other with their lives. After days of relentless climbing, they reached the summit. The sense of accomplishment was intoxicating. Standing at the peak, surrounded by the desolate beauty of the Andes, they felt invincible. Little did they know their real challenge had yet to begin. Descending a mountain is often more dangerous than ascending it, and this was no exception. As they made their way down the west face, disaster struck. Simpson lost his footing and fell, shattering his right leg. The pain was unbearable. A broken leg at high altitude is usually a death sentence, but Simpson refused to give up and Yates refused to leave him behind. Yates devised a makeshift system to lower Simpson down the mountain. Using their ropes, he painstakingly lowered his injured partner in 300-foot increments. It was an ingenious solution, but it was physically and mentally exhausting. The cold bit at their faces and the snowstorm that swept over them turned the mountain into a frozen hell. Hours into the descent, disaster struck again. Simpson, unable to communicate, was lowered over an unseen cliff. He dangled in midair, unable to climb back up. Yates, unaware of what had happened, held the rope as long as he could. The weight was dragging him down and he risked being pulled off the mountain himself. After an hour of holding the rope, Yates made the impossible decision. He cut it. With tears streaming down his face, he believed he had just condemned his friend to death. Simpson fell into a crevasse and disappeared into the abyss. For Yates, the descent continued in silence, haunted by guilt. When he finally reached base camp, he told their companion, Richard Hawking, what had happened. They mourned Simpson, assuming he was lost forever. Simpson, however, was not dead. He had landed on a narrow ledge inside the crevasse, battered but alive. His leg was useless, and he was trapped in a freezing, pitch-black void. With unimaginable determination, Simpson began crawling and dragging himself toward the surface. His hands froze, his body ached, and dehydration gnawed at him. Every inch was a victory. The crevasse walls glistened with ice, and the air felt suffocating. When he finally escaped the crevasse, his ordeal was far from over. He still had to navigate miles of jagged ice fields to reach base camp. Over 3 agonizing days, Simpson crawled inch by inch, hallucinating from exhaustion. He fought off despair with sheer willpower, determined not to let the mountain claim him. As Yates and Hawking prepared to leave base camp, believing Simpson was gone, they heard a faint cry. They could hardly believe their eyes as Simpson, emaciated and near death, crawled into view. The reunion was overwhelming. Simpson's survival defied all logic and reason. They rushed him to safety, improvising a stretcher to get him to a nearby village. From there, he was flown to a hospital where doctors marveled at his resilience. Even after his physical recovery, Simpson faced profound psychological trauma. Nightmares plagued him, filled with falling, freezing, and suffocating. He woke up drenched in sweat, reliving the moment he dangled on the rope or crawled through the ice fields. Yates too bore emotional scars. Though his decision to cut the rope saved his own life, he was vilified by some in the mountaineering community, accused of abandoning his partner. The guilt weighed heavily on him, even though Simpson himself never blamed him. Simpson's story, immortalized in his book Touching the Void, became a bestseller and was later adapted into a documentary film. The story captivated millions, not just for its adventure, but for its raw exploration of human endurance and moral dilemmas. The tale of Simpson and Yates is more than a survival story. It's a testament to the strength of the human spirit. It's about the choices we make under pressure, the will to survive, and the bonds that tie us together in the face of death. Today, Simpson and Yates are celebrated as icons of resilience and courage. Their story continues to inspire climbers and non-climbers alike. It's a reminder that even in the darkest moments, when all hope seems lost, the human spirit can endure. In the world of mountaineering, where danger is a constant companion, their story stands as a beacon of hope and perseverance. It's a tale that proves that sometimes survival is the greatest triumph of all.